Hello, everyone. I'm Apeksha, Head of Talent Acquisition Technology at Atlassian, and I'm thrilled to welcome you all to our session. Today, we'll be sharing how Atlassian leverages Jira Service Management to improve our own HR services and solutions. Joining me for this discussion is Paul Biagio, my colleague on the People Technology team. Employee experience has become a top priority for HR leaders in recent years. Many organizations recognize that a positive employee experience is critical to attracting and retaining top talent. As a result, HR teams face constant pressure to provide quality service, timely responses, and issue resolution to its employees. With the emergence of digital platforms and tools, IT is continuously exploring new ways to streamline HR service delivery and put an end to bad service management. At Atlassian, we've been on a journey to address these challenges by harnessing the power of our own suite of products. Our focus for today is to highlight some of the challenges we've encountered and the solutions that we implemented using Jira Service Management internally. Additionally, we'll also delve into the positive impact that these solutions have had on our own businesses and teams. By the end of this session, we hope you will have some ideas to take back to your own teams on how to create delightful employee experiences using our tools. I'll now pass the floor to Paul, and we'll share our first case study for today.
Thanks, Apeksha. Let's start by discussing some key challenges our HR service delivery teams were previously experiencing. Originally, each team in the people department had their own service desk. Knowledge management was also decentralized, so important information was spread out across multiple Confluence spaces. This meant that employees had to spend a lot of time searching for information. Employees often had to submit tickets to a few different service desks before actually being routed to the correct one. This increased the workload of other teams as well as their own. When there was no centralized knowledge base, employees often had to rely on outdated or inaccurate information, leading to errors, misunderstandings, and inconsistencies across the organization. Sensitive information was stored in multiple different places, making it harder to manage and secure. Without a centralized request portal, it was difficult to track and manage requests, which led to confusion and a lack of accountability within our organization. These challenges compounded with our distributed workforce. So how did we address these issues? We started by creating a dedicated Confluence space for all of our HR-related content and policies, providing employees with a one-stop shop for all of their HR questions. A dedicated search bar allows employees to quickly search just the content within this space. Expand macros allow information to become available to employees just in time, only when needed. And this provides a cleaner user interface as well. To ensure pages are up to date, our People Ops team created a process around content management, ensuring that content is regularly reviewed and updated. We even created an automation to turn comments left on any page in the Good Day space into Jira tickets so that the People Ops can easily track them, find them, reply to them, and make sure the customer gets their questions answered. This Confluence space was then connected to a centralized Jira Service Management portal we built, which consolidated all of our various HR service desks into one. This provided employees with a single destination to ask any questions and even find a self-service answer if a relevant article existed in Confluence. Additionally, we created a dedicated HR help channel in Slack and connected it to Jira Service Management using Atlassian Assist, making it even easier for employees to get the help they need. We are currently actually piloting our AI-powered virtual agent, which takes self-service to the next level. Whenever a request is submitted, we have an integration that pulls in various employee demographic data from our HRIS tool, Workday, into custom fields, which are then used for automated routing and approvals. This prevents the People Ops team from needing to switch between multiple different systems to get their job done. Implementing our Good Day Service Desk and knowledge base has proven to be a game changer for our organization. Before the implementation, we faced several challenges, such as a large volume of requests with slow response times, lack of common source of truth for documentation and policies, and multiple service desks with disparate processes causing inefficiencies. After the launch, we've seen a significant improvement in our operations, including a 15% increase in satisfaction due to reliable and up-to-date information, a 25% reduction in response time, and a 33% decrease in employee escalations. As we continue exploring AI capabilities through our virtual agent pilot, we expect to see even better metrics, including a significant reduction in case volume. These impressive results have not only enhanced the productivity of our HR team members, but also led to higher customer satisfaction and a delightful employee experience. Next, Apeksha will take us through another very common HR challenge, new hire onboarding.
Thanks, Paul. Multiple teams are involved in employee onboarding and offboarding processes today. At Atlassian, some of these fulfillment teams include our workplace experience, workplace technology, our people operations, and our recruiting teams. When it came to employee onboarding, we faced several challenges that prevented us from delivering a positive candidate experience. We had no central place to track all the onboarding tasks for our internal teams. We lacked a clear status or progress tracking for our recruiters and hiring managers internally, and the absence of SLAs and reporting prevented us from making data-driven decisions. Now, candidates also received multiple emails without a consistent look and feel and branding, and sometimes incomplete instructions as well. Now, how did we go about solving this? To improve our new hire onboarding process, we created a dedicated service desk to track progress internally, with appropriate tickets being created for relevant team members. Now, these new hire tickets are automatically generated based on data from our HRIS Workday, eliminating the need for manual creation. Now, as a result, our fulfillment teams, hiring managers, recruiters gained visibility to start dates and status updates. We also implemented custom workflows that have enabled automated routing of requests to agents and dynamic approvals from key stakeholders during the onboarding process. Now, 7 days before a new hires start date, a Trello board is automatically generated, which has, through a standard template, which has a 30, 60, 90-day plan for new hires. This is shared with the manager as well so that they can customize it based on their team's specific tasks. On the new hires' first day, they receive an automated email with the board link, which serves as a collaborative space for their hiring managers and themselves to build their 30, 60, 90-day plan. Now, let's examine the impact this has made to us internally. Our new hire onboarding process has now evolved from an inconsistent and unstructured process to a much more streamlined and an efficient one that eliminated several manual tasks for our backend teams and saved phenomenal time. Over the last few quarters, we have successfully onboarded over 1,000 new Atlassian employees remotely across the globe, which has resulted in over 5,000 plus hours saved in productivity just through automation. Our employee surveys indicate that 95% of our new hires are delighted with their new onboarding experience. That has also demonstrated a significant improvement. Now, additionally, the availability of the Trello board, the 90-day tracker for all new joinees, has continued significantly to contribute to those satisfaction scores. And although we won't cover this case in detail today, we have a very similar solution in place for offboarding as well. Now, when an employee is terminated in the HRIS or Workday, tickets are automatically generated to teams to tackle their offboarding tasks, which could be deprovisioning access, deprovisioning their accounts, collecting laptop equipment, or even deactivating building and badge access. Next, Paul will talk to us about compensation estimator in service to our distributed workforce. Over to you, Paul.
Thank you, Apeksha. In 2020, we announced Team Anywhere, Atlassian's distributed work policy that gives employees more control over where they live and work. Implementing Team Anywhere was a significant step for Atlassian, and while it presented valuable opportunities for employees, it also took a considerable amount of time to come to fruition. Our initial focus was on compensation impact, since we recognize it's one of the most important factors for employees who are considering relocation. We believe that compensation should be determined based on the employee's location. But the process of determining potential compensation changes when moving from one location to another was very complex and time-consuming. Even before the pandemic, relocation discussions required significant investment from the employee, their manager, and the HR team, with discussions ranging from anywhere from 30 minutes to several hours. As the pandemic progressed, we became aware that hundreds of employees were considering relocation, and we recognized that this existing process was just not going to scale. We knew we needed to enable automation and self-service for our employees, and so we created a Jira Service Management project where employees can submit a request with their desired location. Submitting the request actually triggers automations that pull in information from various sources, including our HRIS, which is Workday, and calculates the employee's expected compensation package in their new location. If the employee chooses to proceed with the relocation, they click a button on that same ticket where they receive their compensation estimation to initiate the approval workflow. This workflow involves various levels of review and approval based on the specifics of the relocation. For example, is this an international move? Is this a high to low cost or low to high cost move? The employee is able to track the progress of approvals through status updates on the ticket itself. Once all approvals are complete, the employee then comes back to the ticket and clicks another button to indicate that they're actually ready to relocate, and they confirm their relocation date, and this initiates the change directly in Workday. In the first month the tool was launched, we received 3,652 requests, with 1,661 of those originating from unique users. At the time, this equated to a fifth of the company. While some inquiries were serious, others were simply curious or exploratory, providing valuable data on employees' interest in relocating. Atlassian employees now have access to useful and actionable compensation information to evaluate potential relocation opportunities, and our HR team can now make data-driven decisions, such as which countries to unlock next based on interest. Furthermore, if they choose to pursue relocation, they may be able to complete the HR process in under 15 minutes, saving considerable time compared to the previous manual process. In fact, the time saved amounts to the equivalent of 1.5 full-time employees. Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about another impactful project, promotion nominations. The promotions process is crucial in recognizing and rewarding talent, but we didn't have a tool that made it simple for our managers and our HR partners to run a promotion cycle. As a result, each department created their own processes which were not consistent across the organization. Managers and HR partners were tasked with lots of manual work in order to compile all of the nominees' relevant data into a promotion nomination packet, track all the approval chains, conduct calibration meetings, and ensure approved promotions were eventually entered back into Workday. Managers did not have a single place to go to initiate a new promotion or check on the status of an already existing nomination. When we saw a 15-point decrease for promotions in our 2021 performance management cycle CSAT, we knew something had to be done. So, as you may already have guessed, we turned to Jira Service Management for help. We created one central project to track all promotions across various departments. This allowed us to start standardizing parts of the process and to enable self-service. One challenge, though, that we quickly discovered was that some departments wanted to actually ask a few custom questions in their nominees' promotion packets. There were also some nuances in approval chains between departments, with some requiring a few extra layers of review. Luckily, Jira is a very flexible platform, so we were able to accommodate all of our stakeholders' requirements. Managers begin the nomination process by going to the Jira Service Management portal for promotions. They select the promotion nomination request type that is relevant to their department, and they provide the nominee's name and submit the form. In the background, automations are triggered through a combination of the native Jira automation module and our third-party integration platform as a service, Workato. Relevant demographic data for the nominee, including past performance information, job profile data, and management chain, are pulled into custom fields in the Jira ticket. The correct promotion nomination packet form is determined and added to the ticket using the Jira Forms functionality so that the manager can go back to that form and fill it out with evidence supporting the promotion nomination. Managers can take several weeks to actually complete this form with supporting evidence. They can do that at their leisure. When they're done, they actually just submit the form, and the act of the submission is what triggers the approval workflow, which is fully automated using those custom fields. HR partners, managers, and other approvers can see the relevant promotion nominations in Jira dashboards. This allows for the nominees to be easily compared with others in their departments. Promotion nomination tickets can even be transitioned through the various workflow statuses directly from these dashboards. Once a promotion nomination is approved, the employee's workday profile is automatically updated so that the promotion is visible to managers in the compensation planning module where the remainder of the performance management cycle is completed. By implementing JSM for promotion nominations, we were able to improve our CSAT score from 59% to 80%. We were able to achieve this by working closely with the business to understand their specific needs and embark on a new technology journey together, co-creating and driving innovation through our own tools. Apeksha, why don't you walk us through our last use case on requisition management?
Thank you, Paul. That was super insightful. An efficient promo process definitely has allowed us to elevate our teams internally. Let's switch gears and talk about a top-of-mind challenge for every business leader, requisition management. During strategic workforce planning, requisitions undergo numerous changes much before the hiring process is initiated. Edits like updates to job postings, job details, levels, titles, hiring manager names need to be made all the time. 1 out of 5 requisitions go through changes that results in manual tasks that were complex, time-consuming, and led to several hiring delays. Additionally, editing requisitions in our HRIS workday involved triggering multiple different business processes. Most of these transactions had to be completed by backend teams and between multiple systems. Now, how did we tackle this? We created the requisition editor, a self-service portal for our users through Jira Service Management. We built a simple Jira form that uses our core employee data from Workday in drop-down fields, utilizes form sections. We were able to add conditional logic to only show fields that were relevant to the type of the change being requested. This helped us to create a simple and a single place for recruiters and hiring managers to request edits to their requisitions. Now, the approvals are automatically generated and sent to relevant team members. Once all the approvals are complete, the changes are synced to Workday through automation. This reduced the manual follow-up between team members and significantly improved efficiency. All these changes and approvals are captured as data in Jira Service Management and is readily available for our reporting and analytical needs. Now, our new solution brought a variety of benefits to us. We made a phenomenal improvement in experience of our end users by offering them a single point of entry. Additionally, the approvals were streamlined and dynamically configured for different types of requisition changes. And as a result, the activities were completed approximately 67% times faster than before. Now, the new process also enabled a very efficient reporting and tracking mechanism for changes, leading to 50% increase in overall satisfaction from our internal talent acquisition teams. Today, we shared a variety of business challenges, how we solved them with Atlassian tools, and the value we've realized. Paul, can you help summarize our key learnings from this?
Absolutely. In today's fast-paced business landscape, it's critical for companies to have efficient processes and tools to stay competitive. The people team in particular plays a vital role in ensuring that employees are engaged, motivated, and productive. To achieve this, people leaders need to embrace technology and digital solutions that enable them to streamline processes, provide value quickly, and deliver a compelling employee experience. One key learning is the importance of low-code solutions that can deliver value quickly. By leveraging low-code platforms, companies can build custom solutions that meet their unique needs without the cost and complexity of traditional software development. This approach enables companies to respond quickly to changing business requirements, reducing the time and effort required to implement new solutions. Another important learning is the value of using Atlassian tools for solutions. Atlassian's suite of collaboration and project management tools, including Jira Service Management, Confluence, and Trello, can be leveraged by HR teams to streamline processes, coordinate work, and share information with employees. By using these tools, HR teams can deliver a better employee experience, improve collaboration, and increase productivity. The third key learning is the importance of IT shepherding and partnering with business teams to build something great together. IT teams have the technical expertise to help business teams build custom solutions, while the business teams understand the specific needs of the organization. By collaborating closely, IT and business teams can enable the company to achieve its goals and drive success. Our final key learning is that technology is an enabler for successful people-team processes. By embracing digital solutions, companies can streamline HR processes, provide better service delivery, and gain valuable data insights that help them make informed decisions. This approach enables HR teams to focus on strategic initiatives that support business growth and improve the employee experience.
So I know we covered a lot of information, which may have left you all with some questions. Jeremy has a microphone that he'll be passing around, so please raise your hand if any of you has a question.
I also wanted to give a reminder. I saw a few people taking pictures of the screen, which is great. This session will be available on demand on April 25th if you want to share it with your teammates later. So if you weren't able to see the screenshots in the slides, it will be available on demand on the 25th. So, does anyone have any questions? Yeah.
So you mentioned specifics about success rates and how do you measure them? So 59% better, 80% better, how do you do the measurement?
Yeah, that's a great question. Surveys, lots of surveys. Defining those metrics ahead of the project launch and capturing a baseline is critical, and it's one of the things that we often forget to do. So making sure that we have a baseline and we know what our success metrics are at the beginning of the project always helps us make sure that the transformation that we're doing is actually achieving the right results. It's not a perfect science. A lot of it is talking to people, getting a sense of how many hours it actually takes them to do things currently in their current process, and then seeing what the improvement is afterwards. But those are some of the ways we do it. It's probably the hardest part, yeah.
So you mentioned Workday integrations. Is that a integration from Workday, or are you using a third-party app to do that integration?
Sometimes both. It depends. We rely heavily on our integration platform as a service, which is Workato. But you could use Workday Studio. Actually, the automation module in Jira is also gaining more and more functionality. So one of the challenges I want to play with one day is actually trying to rebuild all of our automations natively using the plugin. But yeah, there's many different options.
So you mentioned, right here. So you mentioned that you guys obviously have a team where you have a people tech person. For the companies that don't have that, and my company, I'm the Jira admin, so talking to HR, what advice would you give an admin trying to rally HR from moving away from their emails?
Actually, want to take this one?
I am actually on the people team, and I am 16 months old at Atlassian, and it has been a journey of embracing Atlassian products myself. A lot of this on the talent operations or the talent acquisition operations teams are Jira administrators, I would say, with very minimal support from IT. A lot of it is self-service. The forms are pretty easy to build. The Jira automation itself is pretty easy. The places where we've actually needed support was the Workday integration, where you truly need like a Workday SME or a business systems analyst who can actually support that. So I would say if you can actually tackle the Workday piece, then everything on the Atlassian side was pretty simple.
Yeah, and showing these teams the art of the possible, what is capable with our tools, that they don't know that yet, right? So, even taking this presentation back to your teams and sharing what is possible is the first step to kind of getting to a point where you actually implement some of these solutions. I would say also, co-creating, partnering, understanding their pain points and problems, that also is important too. So, like Apeksha mentioned, like we are partners in crime in this. We work together, and it's not just IT doing this, it's not just HR doing it, it's teamwork.
I think it was a combination of both. We presented the business problems, the experience problems, the persona journeys. We kind of shared all that with IT. And then IT also came back with like, hey, we already have this toolkit in place. Why are we not leveraging things that we already have? HR specifically is a space where the first thing that every HR leader thinks of is, let me go take a shiny tool outside that can come solve our problems. So it was that partnership that helped us to tackle this as a team. But I would say it started on both sides.
Yeah, and I've sat on people tech teams that actually sat in the people department instead of IT, and then I had to collaborate with IT for, a lot of the things I didn't have access to myself, and then I owned all of the HR tools. So, generally someone's gonna be responsible for managing those HR tools, and that role can sit on the people team or the IT team. I've seen it work both ways.
Hi, sorry, just kind of had to jump in there. So we have a similar solution, and we essentially took MuleSoft to take data from Workday and then create a Jira record. We then send an email to the manager saying, hey, you have an onboarding task, fill out this information. And so the question that I had for you guys is, how do you go about having the manager indicate specific things that hire needs? And then how are you guys essentially spinning off the right tickets? Because what we do right now is like, if someone wants a Salesforce access, the manager indicates that, we then spin off a ticket to the Salesforce team. If they need access to AWS account, we spin off a ticket. And so I just wanted to figure out, I guess, similarities and differences in your process and getting specifically the managers to fill out the right information.
Great question. We actually don't really have managers ask for things like access needs for their employee till day one, and then it's actually the employee's responsibility to go figure out what they actually need and request access to it. Otherwise, we also have birthright access configured through demographic data. So like if you're on this team, you should automatically be added to this tool. That we do in a few different systems. SailPoint is the latest one that we're migrating to for identity access management, where it really becomes a self-service function to request access and different levels of access as well.
Could you describe, now that you moved a bunch of teams together into one project, your triage process? Do you have a triage queue? Do you do auto triaging, a combination? Like, is somebody's job to watch that triage queue and then the individual team queues, or how did you handle that?
Great question. We do have a triage team, and their primary focus is taking all the incoming requests, determining who they should be routed to. Ideally, they try to self-service the answer themselves through knowledge base articles, but then there's documented escalation paths on how to pull in the right people, and we all swarm together to resolve all these tickets.
And just to add that, we have a tiered model. So the level 1 support kind of lies with the business. So we have people operations folks helping us with level 1 support. And then when it's actually truly a tech support or help or escalation needed, then it's a level 2, level 3. So that's how our triage process is set up.
Yeah. And you could also build out automation rules for that, right? Like if you have a field on the ticket to actually ask what system is affected, you can easily use that to route to the right queue.
One of the messages that I got from the team's event this year was minimizing a lot of customization in your tools and kind of keeping things a little bit more simplified. And so I'm looking at the workflows that you all have, and they're so sophisticated, and it's great that you all have come up with a solution that really just solves so many issues, and it's so automated, and it gets through a lot of work, but Did you all feel any kind of conflict with building such a sophisticated tool? And how do you all maintain that going forward, keeping up with the automations and one slight change that impacts your workflow?
Yeah. For that, it's ideally we don't want to customize, right? We want to simplify as much as possible and standardize as much as possible. And actually the promotion nomination project was a great example because we didn't even know how many processes we had across the company that were so different. When we finally put this in one tool, we realized we have 20 different workflows and we're like, oh my God, no, this is not good, right? So the initial build, we started that way, but we've been iterating on it constantly every cycle to try to get teams to align and streamline things. So our goal is to simplify as much as possible, but we understand that there's going to be requirements that tools aren't going to be able to meet. Like out-of-the-box tools aren't going to be able to meet. And that's when we make the decision to customize. You know, we also heavily debate buy versus build. Like, do we want to build our own custom tool, or is it going to be more efficient and faster for us to customize something out of the box? And then we take all those factors into consideration, like maintenance and, you know, how much time we actually need to spend, how much time and resources we actually need to spend to keep these things running.
Could you please describe how you manage user privacy for HR issues, especially when it comes to interactions with team leads and managers?
Yeah. We take advantage of all of this issue security features. Like, we have project security, issue level security, and we lock things down so that only the right people have access to them. We use a lot of custom fields for driving access. You know, pulling in the HR partner, for example, when they're needed, or making sure only comp team members can see things. What's nice about the service desk model is that there is the customer portal view and the agent view, so we can have fields that only the agents see on the back end, and the requesters only see the things that we want them to see on the front end.
We do have a data governance model also in place, which allows us to determine what do we actually take from Workday for what processes and save them in these queues and issues. So not everything is available, so privacy takes, we kind of meet privacy requirements in that fashion as well.
I have a question about asset management, but before I go to that, we actually have implemented HR onboarding solution, and to answer the question from the gentleman, forms do give you the ability to show what sources you want, the manager wants to give access to. So when HR creates an onboarding request, we use APIs to get the department the person belongs to, and we auto-populate the form to get the systems that they need access to. So the managers can tick off what access level they need to the system. When you onboard a new member, how do you track the physical assets that are associated with the new person?
Yeah. We use Jira tickets. We actually are moving to the asset module of Jira Service Management. That's actually handled by the workplace technology team, though, so it's not something that's in scope for People Tech. But we partner with them, too, to make sure their process is, you know, robust and all their requirements are met as well. Yep.
Thanks.
And the asset management module is actually very cool. I've played with it a little bit. It's on my to-do list to actually go back and revisit that and try to reimagine how we do integrations, because, you know, one thing that we could easily do is just create an asset record for every employee and then pre-populate all of their demographic data and just keep that one record updated and then tie tickets to those assets. So that way we pull in all the data from those assets. So that's definitely on the back burner for us, and one day we'll come back around to tackling that.
I think there's a follow-up question here.
We just set that up for a client. We have a Workday pull that pulls all, I guess 90,000 records into assets, but they do have a need for some fields to be copied over on ticket creation because they want to know department at time of ticket. But that worked pretty well. I think we built that in about a week. It wasn't that bad.
Awesome. Yeah.
I know you said that you were using third-party apps and stuff, but for the workflow, I'm curious to know if you're actually using the Jira out-of-the-box workflow properties and all that fun stuff, or using anything like JSU or JMWE.
We're not using any plugins.
Okay. Thank you.
Everything is out of the box, vanilla. Like we do customizations in terms of using the APIs to pass data in and out, but that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Any other questions? Oh, sorry.
You are very internationally, so you have a lot of people in a lot of different locations. For an HR service desk, I can assume that some people from some locations can create different request types based on their location. How are you guys limiting that security part and handling it?
Yeah, again, because we're pulling in the data from Workday, we have all of the employee demographic data, including location, and then based on that, we can apply the right security levels as well if we need to.
But those things are being handled after the issue is created, or are you limiting the views on the portal already based on their information?
It happens right at the time of creation, so it's like a few second gap between when we pull the data in and update everything. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. There's a couple ways to do that too, by the way. Like you can also, if you really needed to, if you had separate request forms, you could tie it to different issue types and tie it to unique workflows, and in that workflow, you can apply a security level on creation, and it becomes instant. So, yeah.
Are you guys also looking forward to the future where you can restrict request types per groups? Yeah, okay.
Totally.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, there's a couple plugins out there that do that, and I've played with them in Server before for some projects. They work nice, so there's solutions out there for sure.